In a quiet southern town diner, a black art student in a wheelchair after a childhood accident is cruelly mocked by three young men. Everyone else looks away until a Hells Angels member walks in. He steps forward to defend her, only to be falsely accused of making threats. But when the police arrive, a shocking truth is revealed that stuns the entire town. The Hells Angel is no ordinary man, and the three young men will have to pay for what they've done. Before we dive in, what time are you listening? Where are you from? Drop a comment below and tell me. On a quiet Friday evening, the neon lights of May's Diner flickered against the damp streets of a small southern town. Inside, the low hum of chatter mixed with the clinking of coffee cups and the sizzle of burgers on the grill. It was the kind of place where people came for comfort food and familiar faces. But on this night, a storm was about to rise in the middle of that cozy little diner, a storm that would leave the town talking for years. At a corner booth near the window sat a young woman named Alicia Parker. She was 24, a talented art student and a fighter in every sense of the word. 10 years earlier, a car accident had stolen her ability to walk, and since then, her wheelchair had become part of her life. Her dark curls framed her warm, thoughtful face, and her sketchbook lay open on the table in front of her, filled with portraits and swirling designs. She often came here to draw, sipping sweet tea and catching inspiration in the quiet hum of the diner. But tonight, her peace was broken. At the counter sat three young men, all in their early 20s, loud and restless from too many beers before they wandered in. They weren't strangers to trouble. Everyone in town knew their type, arrogant, careless, and always looking for someone weaker to pick on. Their laughter rang across the room like a slap, and soon their eyes locked on Alicia. "Hey, look!" one of them snickered, pointing with his chin. "Roller Girl's got her crayons out." The others erupted into laughter. Alicia froze. She tried to ignore them, her pen steady against the paper, but her hands trembled slightly. Another voice chimed in, mocking and cruel. "Bet she's drawing herself running. Oh, wait. She can't." The laughter grew louder. A few customers shifted uncomfortably in their seats. A mother with 2 children whispered to her kids to finish eating quickly. The waitress behind the counter bit her lip, eyes darting nervously, but no one spoke up. Alicia's face burned. She had endured stares and whispers before. But this was different. This was open mockery, meant to humiliate her. She wanted to disappear, but she forced herself to sit up straighter, refusing to let them see her break. Still, the words cut deep. "Come on, sweetheart," another one sneered, sliding off his stool and striding toward her booth. "His buddies," and followed, smirks plastered on their faces. "Why don't you show us one of your pretty pictures? Bet it's something sad. Bet it's you dreaming about walking." Her voice caught in her throat. "Leave me alone." The man leaned over her table, snatching her sketchbook. He flipped through it, tearing a page out carelessly. "Aw, look at this. Girl's got talent. Too bad talent don't fix broken legs." The page fluttered to the ground. The diner grew silent except for the cruel laughter. Alicia's hands clenched the edge of her wheelchair. She wanted to scream, to push them away, but her body betrayed her. And worse, everyone else in the diner pretended not to see. That's when the door opened. The faint jingle of the bell cut through the tension, and all eyes turned. In walked a man who seemed to carry the storm with him. His presence filled the room before he even spoke. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with a leather jacket heavy with patches, one of which bore the unmistakable emblem of the Hells Angels. His beard was thick and streaked with grey, his eyes sharp, beneath the shadow of a worn cap. His boots thudded against the linoleum floor with each step, and the air seemed to shift. The three young men fell silent for a moment, caught off guard. The man's gaze swept the room, and it landed on Alicia, her flushed face, her trembling hands, and the sketchbook torn on the floor. He stopped. "What's going on here?" His voice was deep, steady, carrying the weight of someone not used to being ignored. The three men glanced at one another, then back at him. One smirked nervously, trying to play it cool. "Nothing, man. Just having some fun." Fun. The biker stepped closer, his boots echoing. "Doesn't look like she's having much fun." The leader of the trio squared his shoulders, puffing himself up. "Hey, we don't want no trouble. Ain't none of your business anyway." The biker's eyes hardened. He leaned down, picking up the torn sketch from the floor and setting it gently back on Alicia's table. His voice lowered, almost a growl. "It is my business when three punks think it's okay to bully a woman in a wheelchair. You think that makes you men, huh?" The diner was frozen. No one moved. No one breathed. The young man sneered, but there was fear behind it. "Look, man, you better watch yourself. Don't want to end up in trouble." But before the biker could respond, the diner's owner, a nervous, balding man, stepped forward, wringing his hands. All right, let's calm down here. Sir, I think you should leave. We don't want no threats in this place." The biker turned his head slowly, disbelief flashing in his eyes. "Threats? You think I'm the threat here?" He pointed at the three young men. "They're the ones harassing her." But the owner shook his head, fear outweighing fairness. "I don't want problems with anyone. Just please, leave before this escalates." Alicia's chest tightened. Once again, no one was standing with her. The biker clenched his fists, frustration in every line of his body. "So that's how it is. You see injustice and you'd rather look away, just like the rest of them." One of the young men smirked again, emboldened. "See, old man, nobody wants you here. You're just another thug in leather." And that's when someone called the police. Within minutes, the flashing red and blue lights painted the diner windows. 2 officers walked in, their faces hard. The owner rushed forward. "Officers, thank God you're here. This man," he pointed at the biker, "he's making threats, causing trouble." Alicia's heart sank. The biker stood tall, his jaw tight, but his eyes calm. "That's a lie. Ask the girl. Ask anyone here who's got the guts to tell the truth." The officers turned to Alicia. She opened her mouth, but before she could speak, one of the young men interrupted, plastering on false innocence. "Yeah, officers. He came in here all aggressive, started shouting at us. We didn't do nothing." It felt like the world was crumbling around her. Once again, the truth was about to be buried, but then one of the officers paused. He tilted his head, studying the biker. Recognition flickered in his eyes. "Wait a minute," he said slowly. "Aren't you—" The diner held its breath. The officer stepped forward, his voice softer now. "You're Daniel Grizzy-Harlow, the decorated veteran, the one who pulled 3 men out of a burning Humvee in Kandahar. You—" His voice trailed off in awe. "You're a hero." The diner erupted in murmurs. The name spread like wildfire. Everyone in town had heard of him, though few knew he lived quietly nearby. A Hell's Angel, yes, but also a soldier who had nearly given his life for his brothers in arms. The officer's expression hardened as he turned to the 3 young men. "So, you boys were mocking a disabled woman, and then you lied to us about this man threatening you. Is that right?" Their smirks vanished. The second officer stepped closer, handcuffs ready. "Harassment, disorderly conduct, filing a false report. We've got plenty we can book you on." The color drained from their faces. Alicia's eyes filled with tears, not of pain this time, but of relief. For the first time that night, she felt seen. Grizz turned to her, his voice gentle now, a sharp contrast to the thunder he had brought minutes earlier. "You all right, sweetheart?" She nodded, though her voice shook. "Thank you for standing up when no one else would." Grizz gave her a small smile. "Don't thank me. You didn't deserve what they did. Nobody does. As the officers led the three young men out in handcuffs, the diner was silent, but this time the silence was different. It was heavy with shame, for those who had stayed quiet, for those who had looked away. Grizz tipped his cap to Alicia, then turned to leave. But before he reached the door, Alicia's voice stopped him. Wait. He looked back. Her voice trembled, but her words carried strength. You didn't just stand up for me. You reminded everyone here what courage really looks like. For a moment, the biker's tough exterior cracked, and a softness shone through his eyes. He gave her a nod, then stepped out into the night, the rumble of his motorcycle soon fading into the distance. The diner would return to its routines, but no one there would forget what happened. Alicia would continue to draw, her art carrying even more fire than before, and the people who had looked away would carry the memory of their silence like a stone in their hearts. In that little southern town, on that quiet Friday night, one man's courage had changed everything, because sometimes it only takes one person willing to stand up, to silence cruelty, to protect the vulnerable, and to remind everyone else that doing nothing is the loudest shame of all.